how Adroit plays is they're always gonna give Natsumi the bad lane. For some weird reason, your pos 1 carry has the bad lane. He's gonna play. He's gonna play from behind. But Mac is gonna get all the priorities. He's the mid laner, and then he's gonna make the space at some point in the game. Natsumi is gonna come in big and he's gonna come in strong.
10 seconds
So that's
remaining.
how Adroit have been playing. They have seen a lot of success in it, and I guess maybe we'll see it here as well.
Has Boom picked up on this though? Do they realize that Mac is one of the more important players on Adroit? Are they maybe going to punish him in that lane? We'll have to see. I mean, Boom won those 2 games this morning against Adroit, so clearly they've got something going for them. And does Adroit maybe change up the playstyle? Maybe Mac ends up having the bad lane, and then they give the good lane to Natsume. It's hard to say.
Team ban.
We'll see in a moment once we start seeing these hero picks in the lineup as well. In terms of bans, nothing out of the ordinary, the usual. Maybe minus the Clockwork. Clockwork isn't a typical hero that you would see in the first phases of bans.
Dire team pick.
And they picked up the Phoenix on the way of Boom. Great team fight potential with the egg. A decent sustain with the Sunray. All around. Quite flex. Could be the offlane. Could be the pos 5. Either ways, Boom would like to play it. Meanwhile, on the side of Adroit, yeah.
I've got mixed opinions when it comes to Phoenix, especially when the Phoenix gets picked up this soon. Picking up a Phoenix first pick, obviously there's a lot of benefits to it, just as you mentioned, but the downside is that for Phoenix, the Supernova is typically a very important spell that normally has to go off, and to go for a first pick, you are essentially setting up for the enemy to pick up heroes that can deal with the Supernova egg.
10 seconds remaining.
Adroit, in the meantime, they go for Void Spirit Magnus, which personally I'm a very big fan of Magnus, whether it be core or support. But normally when you pick up Magnus, you are picking a physical right-clicker. And if you're going for right-clicker cores are essentially the weakness to Phoenix, unless you have a setup such as a Void Chronosphere or an Enigma Black Hole, or even something simple as a Lion Earth Spike, where you can get multiple disables off so that the Phoenix Supernova goes off. So, Boom, I'm not sure if they're trying to set up and maybe lure Adroit to a lineup that deals with the Phoenix egg, but then they come in with some, lack of a better word, a boom boom power strat that basically kills them before the Supernova egg breaks. We'll have to see. They go for Ember Spirit. It's typical hero played up against Void Spirit. I don't blame Boom for picking it up now, but I want to see what the combination is with the Phoenix, because I can see Adroit going really hard in with the right clicks.
Yeah, but maybe the Phoenix pick is to force Adroit to pick some sort of a hitter, which could be the case here, but like you said, Magnus in the same team of Adroit, he'd love to be playing with a hitter right now. The Empower is going to just accelerate the farm, and the Cleave is going to be so beneficial in this sense. Yeah, is this how Boom is going to enter their first game of the day? There we go, a hitter for the egg.
Literally the perfect hero to go against the Phoenix. I need to see here though, what's the countermeasure for the Phoenix Supernova? Because you can, in some team fights, you can just run away from the Supernova and you don't have to worry about the egg at all. So what is it that Boom does that's gonna make Adroit stick around the Supernova egg, and that they can keep them there long enough for the egg to pop?
5 seconds remaining.
You know what though? I really think Adroit's in a really good spot. Reason being that they have a Magnus. So even if maybe Boom catches out a couple of Adroit heroes, because Boom's gonna have to cluster around if they're gonna throw these spells to catch Adroit heroes, Magnus can just come in and counter-initiate the counter-initiation. There's a lot of things that could happen, and I'm a little bit worried about how Boom wants to execute this. If they run a lineup that doesn't revolve around the Supernova egg, that's fine too. But ideally, you'd want to still include it because it's still valuable burn damage, and especially in the late game situations, if you don't kill off the Supernova egg, that stun goes through BKB. And it can really catch off some carry heroes if they're not aware that the Supernova is actually popped.
It feels too convenient.
Shadow Demon.
Okay, Shadow Demon's decent against Troll, kites him around with the Demonic Purge, and with the Disrupt actually can buy some time for the egg to actually pop. but it feels too convenient. Like, why would you pick a Phoenix? It says it on the first pick, it's like you're baiting Adroit to pick a hitter, which is Troll,
10 seconds
which we already
remaining.
saw it coming. So I feel Boom has something.
5 seconds
There's
remaining.
something in this. Or maybe I could be overcomplicating the situation, but it feels like something is up.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what you want to do with the Phoenix. Because let's pretend the Supernova doesn't exist. We have to look at the other abilities of the Phoenix. Normally, Phoenix needs someone to set up for the Sunray as well as the Fire. I mean, if you land the Fire Spirits, you can try and aim them yourself. They're a little bit slow though. Ideally, you want setup. Shadow Demon's not really the best hero to utilize a Phoenix. You want someone that has long stun durations, like a Shadow Shaman or a Lion, so that Phoenix can stack multiple spirits and throw a huge duration Sunray. But Shadow Demon's the complete opposite. It doesn't really set up for the Phoenix at all. I guess the Purge combos are with Phoenix, but minus that though, you are very light on disables because you only have the Disruption and the Searing Chains.
I love that pickup. Bane, I haven't seen this hero for ages, but he's just perfect against these mobility heroes. Amber Spirit now has to play a bit more careful. Fiend's Grip is there, not to mention the passive Bane has now,
10
where
seconds
your
remaining.
magic resistance just decreased. It's insane.
5
Status
seconds
resistance, actually.
remaining.
Oh my gosh.
The enfeebled.
I'm trying to read Boom, but I think Boom is reading me right now. I don't know what's going on. Oh, this Phoenix has really thrown me off. Adroit seems very level-headed though. I do like their draft. They've got everything that they need. You've got tower push, you've got AoE control, you've got single target control, lane harassment, strong lanes. As for Boom...
Wait, hold up.
What's his fourth?
Adroit
What
has
we
gotten.
bad.
It could look like a potential 3 cores reveal, unless Magnus is definitely going into the support role at this point. Surely you don't show him right now if that's all 3 cores, no?
So typically we've been seeing more Magnus support. So he should be
Radiant
playing a
team
supporting
ban.
role with the Bane. I mean, between Bane and Magnus, these guys actually have really good kill potential between the two of them. Both really tanky, and then you can even set up for a skewer under the tower.
Oh, the Bane is so... Why did they pick a morph into a Bane though? That's a bit questionable.
They've got the Shadow Demon to potentially protect the Bane, I
10
suppose.
seconds
That's
remaining.
true. That's true.
5 seconds remaining.
Is Shaker the last pick for Boom? Maybe they just go for Morphling Shaker, unless it's... No, Shaker's banned.
Radiant team pick.
So Legion
So
and Pango, so both teams suspecting offlaners. So I guess it's not... I'm kind of hoping it's not offlane Phoenix, but... I do need... We need them to grab a solid tempo controlling offlaner.
Amber is pretty much tempo as it is for Boom Esports. As for Adroit, you've got the
I think you need
Void.
more
10
tempo though.
seconds remaining.
They need more tempo. They need more burst because their only burst is Ember Spirit during the
5
laning
seconds
stage.
remaining.
Shadow Demon doesn't really do that much burst damage, and then
Giant team
Phoenix hit or miss. It's
There
Panda.
you go.
Okay. I'm
That's the tempo right
actually
there.
okay with this. Yeah. And the Brewmaster. Oh, okay. This is interesting. So. Okay,
it's
I
so
like
good.
this Panda. Now that I
It's
think
so
about
good.
it, this is actually a really good
Yeah.
Panda game. So you've
10
got
That's-
multiple
seconds
ways to
remaining.
possibly set up for the Phoenix Supernova now. You've got the Tornado
5 seconds
from
remaining.
the Wind Panda, and then you also have the Drunken Haze that causes mischance. So you could potentially miss the Supernova Egg as well. So I suppose this is their main setup hero for the Phoenix, but minus the setup just for Phoenix, team fight wise, I really like this. He can control the Magnus and the Bane at will. His little pandas are going to cause a lot of issues. I keep saying this. I like the panda pick. It rounds out the draft nicely.
Yeah, I would like to point out the Drunken Haze on the troll. He would hit himself. He would inflict some damage onto himself. There's a chances there. So if troll is just gonna go crazy, he's gonna end up bashing himself in the head. Theoretically.
So Adroit, after seeing this panda, what's their solution, because they are expecting a offlaner themselves. Unless they put Magnus offlane, personally not a fan. I'd rather see Magnus playing as a support. What's available? Bat's banned, Mars is banned, Timber's banned. Centaur is available. Pango's banned.
That caught them by surprise. But we see
Beastmaster?
Dazzle.
Dazzle?
Heroes.
Offlane Magnus.
No, yeah, it's a. Is it? No, it is an offlane Dazzle. It's Bach on the offlane. We've seen it once.
Oh no!
We've seen it twice. We're about to see it once again.
Gosh,
an offlane Dazzle,
again?
a Dazzle core.
Oh my goodness, I thought I would never see this again. But this time it's Adroit that's playing it, so I'm curious to see how they're going to handle this offlane Dazzle. You know, I'm very blessed to be living in Asia right now, because I swear to God, we get the most crazy, outlandish Dota there is.
I mean, it's always nice to pair a troll with some sort of save, right? It's a Dazzle or Oracle or whatever be it. So this is decent to have. I would see the synergy in the draft. Mac on the Void, it's the Space Maker. Yeah, I could see that happening. But
I'm trying to think, so how would you play the Dazzle? Because last time we saw the offlane Dazzle, at the end of the day, that style of Dazzle ended up just being a glorified support, right? Because all they built on that Dazzle before was a lot of supporting items to try and help. Who was it that the Dazzle in those games were playing with?
It was the Meepo. They were banking it on the Meepo. It was three
right.
sustains on one Meepo, I think, and an offlane Void Spirit. It wasn't an offlane Dazzle. It was a carry Dazzle. That game.
Was it carry or safe? Oh yeah, it was safe lane Dazzle.
It was the carry. Yep. And then it was an offlane Void and a Meepo, which that went absolutely horrifying, horrific. That was bad.
Not good. TLDR. Well, we'll let the game play out. I really want to see how they play the Dazzle. If it's going to be the classic Deso Dazzle, or maybe we see the, I guess, again, the glorified support Dazzle again, or maybe they go for a more standard offlaney kind of build and tank up, building things like Pipe. I don't think Blink Dagger is going to be ideal for Bok unless they feel like they're going to get ambushed frequently. 4 staffs would be nice. I guess you just go for the utility offlane build on the Dazzle and mostly rely on your mostly rely on your Troll and Void Spirit to do the damage, just because you have Empower readily available for those two.
I mean, his whole objective in this game is just to sustain Troll so he can dish out the damage, right? So utility is fine. He's already have a headdress on him, so he might get into the Pipe, the Greaves, eventually, all these things. I think utility is the way to go. Again, they're all banking it on the Troll. That is the hard hitter, and with the Empower, he should be coming online way faster than usual. They're all in it.
I mean, you have to be. They're playing for money now. This is not just a regular game of Dota, Keith.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Adroit's learned their mistake from this morning, I guess. Maybe they're going to try something new, something Boom wouldn't expect coming up from Adroit. But I guess we'll find out. But we can't, because the game is a pause. People are changing connections.
Yep, so we're just getting confirmation from production that currently Boom ID are suffering from some packet loss. So we may be in for a little bit of a longer pause. It depends on how DreamerCell is when he does his reconnect here. But otherwise, if we're good to go, we should be starting soon. So looks like we're going to try and see if it's smooth. Looks like it should be fine now.
Yeah, it's a perfect time to take a look at the comments on Twitch. It says, "Hey Keith, Boom from India, not Indonesian." Well, we're still on that, huh? We're still on that.
Oh my gosh, I love that meme. It's the best. Okay, so laning wise, yeah. So laning wise, you've got both supports for Boom heading up top. It looks like it's Panda, traditional offlane Panda. Morphling's gonna be heading up mid. Okay, so Morphling will be taking mid against the Void Spirit, not the Ember this time.
30 seconds to battle.
To be fair, this is a pretty safe lane for the Morphling. The Void Spirit doesn't really pose too much of a threat for Mikoto, unless maybe Mikoto overextends or makes a very big misplay.
Wait, I'm actually
Adroit,
confused. Was FBZ the support for Boom, or was he the off lane? If I'm not mistaken.
very sure
Battle begins.
he's off lane. He's got Quelling Blade.
Wasn't it Cascute in the off? Oh. I'm not too sure. If I'm not mistaken, it's usually Cascute playing like the Timbersaw and all these things. I could be wrong, but I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. Let's do it the easy way. Alright, the game will begin. Morphling versus Void Spirit in that mid lane. Honestly, Mikoto should be fine. I do suspect some kind of gank attempt coming in from Adroit, because realistically you don't want to leave the Morphling for free farm. Even though it's up against a Void Spirit who shouldn't die either, you do want to slow down the progress of that Morphling. But they are prioritizing their safe lanes for now. Down bottom, Kesku and Dreamer. These two should be able to get a kill. Searing Disruption. Yeah, I do think this bottom lane has the potential to kill if Adroit isn't prepared. I don't suspect the Dazzle to go for the Grave early. Normally if you go for Grave, you go for it after level 6. Gonna try and go for CS first. Although, to be fair, they are very tanky though. Vayne able to heal himself, and so will bot.
Actually, there's a lot of burst damage coming out at the bottom lane. The heal bombs and the Vayne's brain sap is actually pure, so they have a lot to work with in the early game. Oh, it gets Skewer back in the tower. Taking some decent damage. FBZ actually drops down to half HP, but it will be fine as he has the Drunken Haze already on them, so they would not look to commit.
Gotta be careful around the Magnus. Can't really see that. You have to worry about that positioning, because if you do get skewered onto the tower, you're gonna be losing a lot of health, especially this early on. But Panda's doing great in lane though. He's leading CS, is at 12. So FBZ is doing a pretty good job compared to Troll. No denies so far though, it's just been mostly CS.
Well, like I said, they always give Natsumi the harder lane, prioritize onto Mac, and then eventually Mac makes the space for Natsumi. That's how Adroit likes to play it. We'll see if they get away with it this time around. Natsumi does have Empower to catch back up whenever he's behind though, so it's all good on his end. He's not too worried about it.
Yeah, that's one of the scary things you have to worry about if you're Boom ID. Even though you might win the laning stage, if you don't control the jungle, if you don't secure the towers, or even just grabbing tier 1, near tier 1s for example, everyone's just going to catch up on the side of Adroit because of the Empower. They clear creeps so fast, and Mikoto playing with fire is going to be careful around Mac.
So mid lane doing so well so far. Mac 16-4 to the Morphous 13-2, and Mikoto's actually taking so much harass from this. The Mac will come out decently ahead in this mid lane matchup. Things are gonna be pretty stagnant for him, at least until when he hits 6, and maybe make the rotation once he gets the Astral Step.
Mikoto's got to be careful. We don't want to morph into edging too close to the creep wave. Mac could just slide in, slide out, grab a quick kill.
That'll be funny to look at though. Something to clip.
I don't think it'll be very funny to Mikoto. So, meanwhile, since it looks like we're not going to really go for any kills in this mid lane.
Oh, Natsumi again, being pressured at top. They just don't care about Natsumi, man. They know this guy always makes it back somehow in a late game. It's a troll! Well, I mean, it's whether he's playing a troll or a PL or a Spectre, it's the same game. They always give Natsumi the hardest lane of them all.
Probably used to it. I mean, let's be realistic. If you play C-pubs, you're always going to be playing from behind.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Oh, looks like a port courier has been sniped by CML. That's going to be Keskute's courier as well. No items for you, he says.
Oh,
And
Natsumi actually
Natsumi.
falling
Ooh,
pretty
is he
low.
gonna get
Has to respect it.
best blood?
FBZ comes in with the crit, but Hyde will finish him off. And now Boomy's trying to get the perfect skewer back. Will not.
Yeah, couldn't quite get the angle, unfortunately. But even if he pushed FBZ back, that Panda is just so tanky, sitting at 1k health at level 4. So laning-wise, you got to be pretty happy with how you're doing, especially on Adroit. They are more or less secure in all of their lanes. For Boom, your only lane that you're really struggling on is the Ember Spirit lane, which might come back to bite them in the butt because normally, especially if you're a Dreamer Cell, you're playing the Ember Spirit. You need to be the one tempoing for Makoto, not the other way around. The Morphling's going to be spending more time than Ember farming. So I wonder what the comeback mechanism is for Dreamer Cell, if it's to simply gank at level 6 once he hits the Remnants, or maybe to try and grab a kill in lane. Killing in lane is looking less and less ideal just because the longer the laning stage goes, obviously their opponents get more skill points, then Bane is going to be simply unkillable because he's got Brain Sap, naturally tanky as well, and then you can't kill the Dazzle. The Dazzle's getting all the farm and all the levels, so he's also going to eventually have access to a heal himself, and maybe even turn it around with the Poison Touch. You can't underestimate Poison Touch because of the duration refresh.
Yep. Worth noting that Poison Touch, one of the best skills to harass heroes out of lane, and you can see him doing well. This Ember hasn't had the best of a lane. 21-0 to 32-11 of Bach. And he's very well, so he can very well sustain himself there with the heal bombs on his head. Oh, immediately Natsumi again in trouble. Has to force TP out of there. Hyde being a nuisance. Again, Natsumi having the worst lanes out of all, but I guess in a mid game, it's Mac and Bach who's going to be making the space. So it makes sense in a theoretical sense.
So I wonder who's going to be the one to make the move. Adroit would be more than happy to sit back and farm just because they have Boomy with the Empower. I'm assuming here, if you're Boom, you have to be the one to get things moving. Sure, you're running a Morphling, but you're running a Morphling against Empowered Troll Void Spirit. That's not a happy time, especially when there's... Especially if they manage to get a 2 to 3 man RP, I think that's basically it. There's no counter initiation on Boom ID in the form of any kind of safe mechanic.
Oh, bottom lane, Dreamontel overstepped himself, disrespecting Bonk, and now he's the one falling pretty low as the rotation by Mac has gone bottom. As I said, after he gets his astral step, it's all go time for him. Gets 2 kills down in the bottom lane. And the courier for that, so all the way Adroit that one.
Oh, definitely Adroit there. And this is going to be very scary because if it's Adroit that's going to be the ones to make the move, Boom ID might be on the back foot. I don't think they are equipped at this moment in time to deal with a very farmed, very fat Void Spirit. They don't have the necessary lockdown to deal with him, which means I don't think they're going to be able to kill him unless he oversteps his boundaries. Secondly...
And look at Natsumi though, he's farming up all the stacks with Empower. Oh, they're trying to contest it though. Hyde can actually clear the wave with his Fire Spirit, so he's got to be careful. They got to clear it off before it's been sniped. All the rotation comes in. Back now, spots him out. Oh, Mikoto was on full agi, but unfortunately still have enough life. Oh, look at those stacks. Yeah, Natsumi's definitely not behind after this.
Adroit are so efficient with their lanes. They do something that a lot of Southeast Asian teams don't do all the time, which is stacking. Like, they're stacking so well. They're stacking up top, they're stacking down bottom, they're maximizing their farm. And if you take a look at what Boom is doing, Boom's not stacking. They're not maximizing their farms. They're trying to secure the lane for Dreamer Soul. They're trying to go up top. They're trying to contest the enemy jungle. They could be farming for themselves, but instead they're going to try and just...
He tries to skewer him back under the tower, but unfortunately it's a 3-on-1 here, and there's no way after Boomy is actually getting out of this one.
They got to grab the tower with this. They invested 3 heroes to push. If they don't grab the tower, and especially with the Panda ult as well, it would make no sense to go for a kill onto a Magnus and not to push. So at least they secure a tower. No tower progress so far for Adroit, but Adroit are just saying, we've got the jungle to farm. We don't care about towers now, we'll come for towers later because we've got a pro warlord.
And an RP to play around with, so that's always scary.
That too. So boom, this game could be a very tough one unless they start to get the ball rolling and go for ganks, take pressure away from Adroit. Anything such as even a smoke would even work out for them too. Just grab something to try and bring this game more back into their fold. Pull attention away from Makoto. Use the Panda. Sure, he doesn't have the Panda split now, but Panda does really good damage, especially with the crit calcs. Now that they've changed it, it's like, what, pseudo-random now?
There you go.
I don't know what the word is. The one where it's like, after a while, he'll just crit the first time.
Yeah, the drunken brawler. It's the... Oh, they're all rounding up trying to secure this mid lane tower. They don't want Mac to be having such a great lane, so force out a glyph, but I don't think any rotation's been made down to the mid lane to defend it. They are all down at bottom. If they can look to kill this Ember, Dream or Cell, it's gonna be worth the trade though. Immediately uses the Remnant backwards, but oh, SKML! The cast animation was not in time and he will not get the grip off. As they take in the middle tower, and yeah, now they have to force to rotate down the mid. Natsumi's taking place.
Right, boom, they're pushing it forward, they've taken 2 towers, and look at how aggressive their movements are as well. They are invading the enemy jungle. Adroit, they're well aware of this, but if they can take all these towers down, that's going to be map control taken away from Adroit, and it might force them back onto the dire side of the map. Maybe they farm in the Boom ID jungle, but if Boom threaten high ground, that will force Adroit back. And if you're forcing them back into their base, that means they're not farming, they're not utilizing the jungle, they're not pushing, and then Boom at least will know where they are. So they got to keep going with this. They got to keep pushing. Speed this game up. Don't let it slow down so that Troll Warlord can catch up with the Empower.
Are fortified. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's top tower
Tempo is definitely going to the side of Boom. However, Net Worth swings Adroit all the way despite the turn of events that happen. They are trying to find a way to stabilize the situation. Lost the tier 1 on top, but Primal Split immediately committed. Has the stone just to stun him a little bit. Cannot pursue the chase. But Mikoto's still in the area. Do they actually turn? No. The storm is here though.
Just gonna throw up in the tornado.
Yeah.
Just waste his time.
Well, Mikoto actually fell pretty low from that burst. Has to be careful. Respect that Bach. He's an offlaner. He doesn't look like it. He looks like a +5, but he's an offlaner.
Love the ward placement coming in from Boom ID. So they heavily invaded the Adroit jungle. Now they have all this vision to play with, and once they started seeing heroes come in, they all retreated back to their own jungle, back to their side of the map. Now that they're free farming, they have all this vision to work with. They're not afraid of any potential ganks, although Natsume might just run into hide. And there's an Emperor Spirit nearby as well.
But that's what, yeah, he's
I would be afraid of
the
scanning.
Yeah, gotta be super careful. So. FBZ, though, I think they know where he is.
Oh, the smoke pops, they know. He's in the area. You can't have BZ, has the grip as well. I mean, it's not necessary knowing that he has no more primal split, but a kill's a kill nonetheless.
That which is all around you.
Money is money.
Has been killed.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Even the courier goes down as well. Oh no!
Did you see that play though? He double astral steps forward and just in time to right click the courier. Wow.
Rest in Pepperoni's courier, you'll be missed. So Yule's Scepter completed on the Void Spirit, so he's got a lot of mobility, has a way of dispelling for himself as well as catching enemies and cancelling TPs. The mana is going to be very useful as well because now Void Spirit can start roaming around, maybe looking for solo kills himself. And
look at the net worth of this troll compared to Ember. It's huge.
Oh, Ember's not had a good time so far. He's had a very tough lane. He's trying to catch up. The unfortunate thing is that the Magnus is not on his team, so he has to farm the normal way, whereas Natsume, well, troll things. Now, there is a very big item that just got picked up. 14 minutes in, we're looking at a Blink Dagger Magnus. Now, all of a sudden, these team fights become very threatening because now just having the presence of Boomy with the Blink Dagger means that if you look at Boom's lineup, a lot of their heroes are very short range. Short range means very easy targets for RP. You've got to be very aware of where the Magnus is. If anything, it's the Panda's job to try and find out where he is in those team fights. Even if it means just sending the Wind Panda out, look for where the Magnus is. If he can just throw him in the air and tornado, that's precious time for Boom to fight without having to worry about the RP. But again, he has to still find that Magnus, and if Magnus is careful with his positioning, he might even just waste the Panda's time and still get the RP off.
Where they're looking to make something happen. 2 down in the bottom, gives the empower onto Natsumi. They know Natsumi could be the perfect bait at this point. Oh, sees it, slide of fist. Doesn't show himself just yet. Mikoto and Amber is in the area though, Dreamerstel and Mikoto. They might look to make something happen here. Oh, they're all smoked up. It's gotta be a gank.
But can they find them before they leave? Looks like the line's gonna be drawn mid here by this Magnus Boomy. He's still got this blink. Natsume will pop it first.
It's a smoke and smoke action. They do see him. FBZ smoke actually pops. They sees him there. Blinks away. Disengage.
That's the blink reveal.
Up on Boomy. Yeah.
That's unfortunate too. Blink reveal. So now Boom are well aware of that blink dagger.
Oh, immediately though, in the back line, Mac just wants straight in. He is doing what he has to do, makes the space. He's the playmaker of the team, Mac. They do take down the tier 1. Primal split has been teased, not exactly committed.
Radiant are scanning.
The counter push on Boom is very weak. If they had something like a Keeper of the Light or any kind of AoE wave clear, they may have been able to slow the push down, but the Phoenix and the Shadow Demon, unfortunately, those two, that's just not going to be enough. The tower will die much too quickly for them to be effective at counter push. If you're Boom, you can't let Adroit push like this. You either have to kill them, draw their attention away, or push faster than them. And there's no way you push faster than a troll. So what's the plan for Boom? Because if you look at where they are, they've got 4 heroes mid. They're farming up top with Mikoto, which is fine. Morphling still needs to continue to farm. But Dreamer Cell, he really needs some help.
Natsumi's just growing bigger and bigger at the moment. Already taking down
Adroit know they can get away with it. Yeah, they can get away with it because they know that there is no way you can punish the troll.
Oh, the rotation is coming out on top though. They might want to look to contest this. They said it's time for a big bad team fight. CML drops the ward, but he spots him there. The stun is around. Primal split already committed. They're just going to disengage and wait the period out. Can CML still live in the duration though? The tornado holds Boomy up. He is the bigger kill. You said it. Boomy's gone. Oh, but he gets off the RP. On the wall here. Shut it down. Immediately. Phoenix A trying to counter initiate. Perfectly played. Natsumi got held up on the air. He could not do damage enough, and they're turning this fight around. It was a great initiation, but it forces Natsumi out to popping battle transit. We'll take down FBC. So far, they've only lost 1. Natsumi to fall in next, so now it is sour for Adroit. Adroit outplayed themselves, and now they're just going ham. Max, Mikoto actually stealing the skills on Max. Has to PP from Bach, and Bach is dead. 4 down. Engagement alone.
Wow, that looked like it was going to go horribly for Boom ID. It looked like they actually set up for Adroit, but they managed to turn the fight around. Sure, they lost a couple heroes during the RP, but on the high ground, you had the Phoenix Supernova. You could also see that the Void... Was it the Void Spirit? He was so dead set on killing the Supernova egg, but Mikoto coming in and actually turning the Void Spirit against himself. And it... oh my god, it's so good. Oh, Boom ID, I think they debated them.
Yeah, yep. Storm actually held this troll on the air throughout the whole duration of the RP stun. He could not dish any sort of damage off, and they just immediately turned after that.
That was beautiful execution. I thought it was going to be game over for Boom, but they know the limitations of their lineup. They are well aware of who they need to keep alive and who they need to kill. And I think Adroit, they probably just lost it in the moment. They thought that they had it with the RP, but the control... There's just so much of it on Boom. Adroit
not feeling too comfortable after that fight. Natsumi really has to get some things in. He's going for a BKB, but the egg does pierce BKB, but at least he won't get controlled up with the tornado once again, and maybe he can dish out the damage he needed necessary to actually wipe the entire team fight. It was a great initiation. Unfortunately, he's one item way too short to actually take it.
Oh man, so Adroit not going to be feeling too confident here now. Boom, going to attempt the Roche for themselves. Mind you, Boomy still has RP, but will they get there in time? Look how quickly this Roche is dying. Looks like they will. And
they're respecting it though. Yeah, they're backing off actually. Magnus scouts out the ward in the high ground to seize him, but the burst coming up from Ingmakoto.
The E-Blade.
Yeah, the shotgun build just deleted TML and the control is gone. Now they're just going for it comfortably as, well, Adroit just back off.
They have to give it away. Wow. Adroit, I kind of feel like they're not showing enough respect to Boom's lineup, thinking that they could just get away with whatever. Especially with the Bane, I'm quite surprised that Bane decided to sit so far forward. But maybe they didn't see the E-Blade, who knows. Anyways, huge advantage to Boom ID. They are not leading in net worth, but they are in a very advantageous position, especially with this Aegis.
And it feels so bad running the troll lineup. Yeah, but the Aegis going on the side of the Morph instead of you, that feels bad.
What can you do? I mean, Adroit's doing the best thing that they can here. They're trying to threaten for high ground push to force some attention back, but they can't fully commit. They're worried that someone might actually come in and catch them, for example, maybe even the Panda. So they're going to play it very safe. They need to protect this mid lane. They're losing way too many towers. And the sad thing is they can't do anything about it. They have to fully commit, or they have to let it go. BKB is up now, so we could be able to get a fight.
He just picked up the BKB. They can actually look to try in another fight. They're all smoked up on the back lines. Already ready. Natsumi's in the area. Bach, they just need another perfect initiation coming out from Boomy. Does have his RP. Might look to force something out here, but they are playing over an Aegis, so they scout someone down at bottom. They might just heavily commit on Mikoto up in the high ground here. They're looking at it.
Just gonna farm someone.
Boomy immediately skewers him backward in with the Fiend script. Perfect, but unfortunately he's already in strength form. Will he dish him down? It will. Natsumi is enough to pop that Aegis, but the egg is there. It will pop. It will catch us onto no one actually, and now they're just gonna burst back down. Simulate will buy him some time, but immediately comes in. Boomy tries to go for it. He still has his RP. He will use it. Will hold him down. The Shadow Grave is there. Natsumi comes in with the damage. He was all in AG form, and he will go down and hide next. Natsumi finally showing his BKB, and it is paying off dividends. He's just gonna claw them one after another. Double kill already on the side of his name.
Boom! Too excited there, and all of that started because Mikoto got tempted by Necronomicon creeps. That fight could have been completely avoided if they just completely left the enemy jungle, but he got baited in, got killed the first time round. Quite surprised that they decided to commit there for Boom, and in particular Mikoto to try and turn onto a Magnus. The fact that Magnus just turned around, RP'd Mikoto, sure, he still died at the end of the day, but you lost your Morphling, your powerhouse, your carry. You can't give that kind of gold away, especially to a troll lineup. Now, 4k gold in favor of Adroit. I know it's quite small at 23 minutes in, but we all know the nature of a troll. It all starts with a little bit of gold.
That indeed, and that little bit of gold is going to grow exponentially with Empower on their side of the team. And man, that BKB was all they needed. The moment he had that BKB, there was no way they could control him with the primal split. No tornado, no nothing is going to hold him back from dishing out the damage. And he melted through a morph that was morphing into full strength. So he just rips it through. He just shreds it through. A troll loves fighting against a tanky hero.
Oh, exactly. Just get so much out of it. Now, this is a very big power spike for Adroit, especially with this BKB. You want to try and accumulate your lead now before the duration of that BKB shortens until the minimum duration. So if you're Adroit, this is the time to farm or to push or to get whatever items you need, but you've got to start pushing soon because, again, even though you are in an advantageous position, you're still up against a Morphling. And Morphling is one of those heroes that can punish you if you leave the game going for way too long. Especially with the E-Blade, we've seen what he's done. He can one-shot Bane, he can definitely one-shot the Dazzle. I could see him also one-shotting the Void if he's not very careful. So Adroit, looks like they're gonna go for a push here. They're saying, guys, we don't want to wait. We need to use the BKB now. Let's do it before the duration gets too short and we give a chance back to Boom.
Oh, a Primal Split has been committed though, so they might actually look to take this fight, but they just baited it out. CML actually pops the smoke, and they wouldn't see him. He's got the Shadow Amulet. Oh, the plays. And they're just going to turn this one around. They know that Primal Split is gone. There's no need for a BKB, even if they want to, they so wish to actually contest this one. No Tornado, no pandas running around. Natsumi, this is your time, man. Just run straight in.
Adroit. That was brilliant. Oh, and Dream himself. He's gonna reveal himself.
Yep.
That's gonna hurt so much though. Panda ult now on cooldown. Adroit, do they want to fully commit? They're parking themselves. Looks like they want to head back. Oh, they want to try and catch out the Panda. And Makoto's there too.
My path leads to riches.
Telescope now surely gives it the way of CML. Get some reach onto the Fiend script. He gets an Aether with that. He is just nowhere to be seen.
Oh, Dreamer Cell, he might get gripped
careful.
here.
Yeah,
CML's ready.
Immediate Fiend script. Cascade's coming into the area, but the save is there with the disrupt.
That's unfortunate. That's going to be grip on cooldown now for 2 minutes, but it's enough to scare them away. And I think if you're a Boom ID, you don't want to go into your jungle right now. Mac, in the meantime, going for Phoenix.
Yep, the initiation comes in with the Fuel Scepter, pulls him in with the Void Remnant. Easy pick off. They're just going to snowball from here on out. Adroit playing it right. Finally, Natsumi. Yes?
Yep. Keith, I think Adroit, they are in such an advantageous position. If you're Boom ID, who would you feel like is a key member on Adroit that has to go straight away?
CML. That guy's gonna cause so much trouble. It's either Boomy or CML because they have too much control and they thrive on actually dishing damage out. They're all hitters, right? You've got the Morphling, you've got the Ember Spirit. They're both mobility heroes. Any sort of control is just their enemy at this point.
That's true. We've seen it before as well, what control can end up doing to both of these teams. It's a bit of a standoff, but looks like Adroit, they're going to back off. Let Boom have their side of the map. Basher now up on the troll. Oh no. This is the beginning of the end, Keith.
It's looking like it. What did he get? Oh my, a Diffusal and a Basher. Wow. No mana and you're stunned. So by the end of that lockdown, you're just a morph that's just running away with whatever mana you have left to morph into strength form.
I'm very sure if he starts wailing on the Morphling, is there anything that might be more liquid than water? Because I think once the troll is done with you, you're not going to be water anymore.
I'm pretty sure that's vapor. You're vaporized at that point. You're gassed. They could look to get into a Heaven's Halberd just to disarm the troll for the time being during those big.
There is a halberd. Yeah, there is one on
perfect.
the Brewmaster. And Brewmaster's going for a blink as well. FBZ really does need that blink so he can get into the backlines, go straight into his split, and then just cause chaos in the backlines. That does leave him vulnerable, however, if he tries to jump to cut the front lines and go straight for the supports. But that distraction might be enough for Makoto and Dream SL to sort of come in and start causing chaos. But they do need to do something about those supports, though. They're playing such an important role in making making the team function. If they can remove the backbone, then they might be able to slowly cripple Adroit from the backside. But it depends on execution. Vision's gonna be pretty important as well. I do like the vision by Boom. They've got one in that top plane, so they can see if there's any rotations
Radiant's
coming in, but
structures are fortified.
I don't see them being able to stop that gank. Ooh.
Oh, look at that. Back cancels him out. Actually, oh, it's the RP, but it misses. He remnants away, and they know that the RP threat is down.
Is it time
was
for
so
Boom
clutch.
to shine?
I think so.
Might be. You'd have to go now. You have to go while the RP is down. And if they're not going, then it's farm time, I suppose. But do you want to farm? I don't know.
Dire's
Roche is
courier
nearly
has
up, but
been
not
killed.
yet. And there was a
Soon.
courier there. Okay, CML. Okay.
They're going to invade the enemy jungle. There is a Dazzle. Walker's hiding in the tree lines, though, so he won't be easily spotted. Unless he makes a mistake and suddenly
Dire
appears.
are
But nope.
scanning.
TP straight to the mid lane. He's going to stick with his teammates. Don't want to give any kills away. Especially when the RP is down. A bit of a stalemate, but let's be realistic here. Adroit looking very confident in their position. Their troll, Natsume, tip-top shape, looking to go for his Abyssal next. And once that Abyssal is done, God bless you, Boom. Whoever you are that gets Abyssal, God bless you.
They have to survive the initial burst. Like, for sure, if they get a perfect initiation of the RP, FBC has to position himself out of it so he can actually get the Heaven's Helper. That way they can move off a lot of the burst damage, and then they can get mobile again and kite the troll around. But that is a long shot. That is a long
Well, I don't think
shot.
it's about the troll anymore. It's his team. You know, you can't kill Natsume until you kill his team. That's the problem.
But they gotta survive the initiation to kill this team. You know what I mean? Because if they get that RP into all the whirling axes from Natsume, it's over. Boom is going for it. Oh, yep. Cover Glimmer. And in one full small opportunity, Boomy might just come in straight with the initiation.
Well, Boomy again. Looks like they're not going to take the bait though. No casualties. That's actually a bad thing for Adroit because they just gave away an Aegis. And here we go. We got a smoke.
Will they actually catch anyone though under cover of smoke? I think RP is finally up, so Adroit would be comfortable in taking a fight if it does so happens. Might be ready for it. They are up on the high ground. Might look to smoke themselves as a courier comes in finally. Could have a smoke. They have a Shadow Blade onto Boomy. So maybe a smoke's not necessary when he can go onto the covers and maybe get that initiation. Oh,
Boomy.
Chains actually catches Boomy though. He's the big fight. If he actually goes down, there's no way they could actually counter initiate. But Mac comes in straight with the essence stab. He's got himself. The heal bomb is there with the Sun Ray, but unfortunately not fast enough. And now they're going to focus their attention straight onto Mac. Mac, Spencer Mules actually saved his skin from the shotgun. But look at Natsume. He's just running straight in. Oh, they will disengage though. Used the Primal Split, lost the Shadow Demon. That's as good as it gets.
Oh man, that's so unfortunate. They were just about to get the Void Spirit. Props though to Bok there with the Grave. Both of those Graves making sure his teammates stay alive, but for Boom, that's gonna sting. You missed out on your Panda ultimate, you lose your Shadow Demon. Almost getting a kill on a Void Spirit, but at the end of the day, all for naught, and this is more farming time for Adroit. Doesn't matter if you've got Aegis, it doesn't matter if you have Cheese. If you're not going high ground, you're not going high ground. The game is not going to end. It's just getting later and later, and you are threatening a Magnus and Troll and Void Spirit on the same team. You can't outcompete them, I think, even if you have Morphling and Magnus, because they have the far superior control. If an RP lands, I feel RP is just much more valuable than the Panda right now. Sure, Panda can maybe isolate one hero, stun another one, but it's not the same as RP that can PS BKB.
Going high ground against Adroits is almost impossible, especially with the Shadow Wave heal bomb coming out from Bok. Clears the creep wave very fast. With the cleave coming out from the Empower. And obviously, Mag and the other, they clear waves very fast, and the threat of the RP is so hard to push the high ground.
Yep, Boom slowly TPing home as well. They gotta defend.
Oh, Dreamostel still in the area though, but unfortunately Mag's not the best in catching him, but he does have the Yule Scepter, he's still on his own. Zero changes there, but the RP finally committed under the cover of Vessel as well, so there's no way he's getting out of there.
What is a flame burning in the void?
60 seconds as well. No Dreamer Cell. He finally gets caught. Boomy finally lands the RP as well. Unfortunately, that's on cooldown, but no Dreamer Cell means no... I mean, they're trying to gank now. I was thinking maybe no gank from Boom. Oh, I want to go for Natsume.
Lane, Natsume's just gonna fight through it all despite the Sunray. He is taking little to no damage. Look at the Soul Catcher doing absolutely nothing. They're trying to go after Natsume, but that's the... Oh, they're actually bursting down with the E-Blade combo. One threat is gone. This is the fight they want. They should take this fight, but Max just goes straight into the back line. Unfortunately, cannot kill off the Phoenix before he pops the egg. He will live. He will take down the Ember Spirit though, so that's a huge kill going the way of Adroit. A carry for a carry, and they want more. Mikoto pulls him in with the Void Ramp and stolen. Notice a Orb to try and, well, send one back at him, but he can take the hit while you can't.
Adroit, they lost the troll so early. They tried to turn it around, but everyone was just so far away from that troll. They all started coming in one by one, and we all know what happens when you come in one by one. You get picked off one by one. And now, with no buyback as well on the troll, they will know they can get rid of buyback after they do half HP power damage.
Dire structures are fortified.
Oh, they have to
There's
really
the
push
cliff.
this one up. Yep.
They have to
Has been
sense this as
forced.
well.
And it's 20 seconds
to
with a
sense.
troll. Oh, but the Aegis has just timed out though. So maybe they might want to respect that. 18 seconds and the troll is back. They want to fight into this back, go straight into the backline against Kesku. Will take him down. Hyde is the next target, but he's in control. Dissimulate will be there. He pushes him even backward with the skewer, and immediately Dreamosel comes in with the Remnant. He wants to take this fight. He Remnants out actually, just well, with the scare tactic. Sends the message, we'll get out. Boomy is still under the cover with his Shadow Blade though. He might get a perfect RP
8
if he looks
seconds.
towards it. Will this actually happen though? Oh, they actually see him. Spirit chase now, tries to burst him down. Oh, Shallow Grave will hold it there. But in the backline, Troll, Natsumi finally up. They can take this point. They have the damage. This is the counter initiation they want to. Mikoto on the vessel. He's not healing up any sort of regen, but he is juking them just by the corner of the cliff. They will not see him. Will he actually get the TP? He will not. Actually, waveforms away. He will be saved.
Invisibility.
Oh, spicy. That was a move that they couldn't really afford to make. Oh man, they thought they got them good. They stunned Boomy. Instead, this gets caught. But guess what? It's not just Boomy. There are 4 other people on his team. And the fact that they just jumped right into the back lines, I think, who was it they cut down? Was it the Shadow Demon? He just got deleted.
Radiant's middle tower.
And
Anyways,
they still have the RP.
Yeah, they didn't even use it. Panda has no mana. He needs to go back to base. Now he does, but Dreamer Cell might be a buyback forced out here.
Then immediately regrets his decision and FP3 gets skewered back over by Boomy. Pops the Primal Split, has the stun on the block. The off-lane Shadow Demon, I mean, Dazzle. And Natsumi's just gonna keep down the damage on FBC. That's his last Panda. Will he actually go down? He will. Nope, he's got one in the back line. So they see that. So he will be safe, nonetheless. But this fight, RP finally committed. I don't even know where to look at. It's going back and forth. They finally get the initiation on the 2 with the Skin Script. They take down the Morphling. The egg is still there. It will pop, but all the damage is gone.
Dire's top tower is under
Big
attack.
ultimates all used. They almost tried to get the Panda. They didn't have the detection, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, Boomy coming in, getting the big kills. In particular, on that Morphling. Oh no, they still found FPC. Never mind. They still get the Panda. And now, with 3 heroes down, you're up against the Troll Warlord. You know you're going to start losing towers. They've got to buy back on somebody. Panda buys back first. Mikoto has to buy back. They have to buy back on that Morph. Probably buy back when they try to go high ground. Force them back.
We'll probably try to take this fight though. RP is down, but so is the Phoenix Egg, so I don't know what more they can do. Mag is just zoning them out with the Void Remnant. They're going straight for the barracks. Sunray is there. Max straight into the back line against Dreamer Cell. Dissimulate just to get out of there. Boomy, they do spot him out under the cover of Sentry. The Shadow Blade isn't doing anything. Skewers back downwards. Tries to get someone.
That's it. At the end of the day, just free set of Raxes. I feel so bad for Dreamer Cell because unfortunately for him, he just hasn't had the chance to really shine at all. He's got some decent items, but have we really seen Dreamer Cell just come in and start going ham on those supports? He's been very laid back in his positioning, and the reason being, the moment he gets bashed by the troll, he knows he's gonna die. If he gets caught by Boomy, he also knows he's gonna die. So unfortunately, there's so many limitations. I guess there's so much red tape on Adroit that he can't cross because he knows if he does, he's gonna die straight away. He has to wait for his teammates to either immobilize, disable, or kill off something that has the threat of killing him as well. No, my gosh,
no! Damage immediately comes in with the RP initiation, catches on the two, and that is the big field streak, holds the Morphling in place, and that will just delete all the heroes, all three of the heroes on the side of Boom Esports, and they might get more. Amber is right here. FBC comes in straight with the primal split, but I don't think this Amber's gonna live. They will clear him off, and now FBC gets demonically first. He actually slowed down, but FBC has the storm to get away in time. So he will be safe, but all that, I don't even think it's a plus sign. That's more of a consolation prize that FBC survives this.
That hurts. And it's Adroit that are the ones that are ganking as well. Boom ID. Good news, I suppose. Adroit, they have some revenge from this morning too, right? Since Boom ID 2-0'd them. It looks like, okay, the game's not over, but looking at how it is, 31k net worth lead. I think Adroit's pretty confident to possibly secure the game. There is a little bit of gas left in the Boom ID tank, but if there's a time to shine, they have to do it now, whether it be to kill Natsume or if they can find Boomy, but there's just so many targets that they have to kill and there's just not enough heroes.
I want to know, does this Morph have a Lincoln Sphere? You're up against a Bane and no, he does not.
Nope.
He hasn't had a game because his Bane keeps on getting him.
You can't blame him though, because if he goes for a linkage, it slows down his progress on a damage item, and he has to make up for Dreamer Cell, who unfortunately has just had a really rough game. Whereas at least with the Morphling, he can morph, he's got protection, he can at least tank, whereas Dreamer Cell, I think the moment he gets caught, he's dead within 2 seconds. There's no way you protect him.
No,
so Makoto's trying to compensate.
I feel the Morph should at least get the linkage, because he's always down on the count.
Well, he's got BKB now.
It's usually the Fiend script. Fiend script pierces it.
Oh, they found him.
Immediately, Abyssal to control him there. Skewers him away from the Phoenix Egg and Fiend script. As I say that, as I live and breathe, they take him down once again. No Lincoln Spear. And now they Amber to join in next into the grave. Has to buy back. Comes into the burst. Will take him down. Takes the back down actually. Mikoto pops his BKB, they only got one. And they got forced 2 buybacks, but the RP got everyone, and now they're just gonna clean them all off. That was a 1 back force. 100 seconds down. FBC is the only one standing. GG has been called. Boom Esports, they've had enough. This is game number 1 of the best of 3. Adroit seeks revenge from this morning, and they take 1 game away from Boom Esports in the ESL Championship Grand Final weekend.
Wow, Adroit, they hit the point of no return. That's Troll Warlord for you. You find that point and you've won the game. That was a really tough game for Boom ID though. They had some times where it looked like they were going to be the ones to take complete control of the game, that they could have held momentum, but it just seemed that Adroit, they realized at every point what they needed to do, who they needed to catch, and I'm not sure if it was on purpose or if it was an accident. There was some pretty epic baits in that game as well. I think in particular my favorite being the Necronomicon bait. Little necro units baiting in that Morphling, and everything just went completely horrible. Horrible. That's it. I can't use any other word. Boom ID, just shut down, locked away, throw away the key, and just dig a hole 6 feet under, and that's about it. But it's really tough. Adroit, I think they learned their lesson from this morning after seeing, or at least playing against Boom ID. They realized, okay, these heroes, I'm assuming, these heroes are going to be their best ones. This is roughly how they play. This is how they feel today. Let's change it up for tonight. They get their first win. They've got one more to go. Whereas for Boom, they've got to win the next 2 games. Otherwise, they are knocked out of the tournament.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the stats of the previous game that we just witnessed. It was an intense one, but Boom Esports lost 1 game against Team Adroit in this best of 3. Kez Kid 0-9-5, Mikoto 5-5-4. You know, the chat has been torn about this. They're saying that Boom has the better late, Adroit has the better late, but I feel if all is on a same playing field, the troll almost always shreds down Mikoto because of just the way it is, right? The more you morph into it, the faster he hits, and maybe Mikoto could actually kite the troll, but unfortunately he doesn't have a Linken's. He's always caught up by the Fiend's grip every single time, and there was just no game for him. The best contribution he had was the...
Continue, sorry.
Yeah, like the best he could have contributed in every team fight is to waveform in with the E-Blade shotgun build, take down 1 support, and he dies. Look at that, 5-5-4, which means every single kills he dies in return.
Yeah, so here's my thought process when it comes to the late game for both of these teams. Whose draft is easier to execute? And then secondly, do you have an enabler on your team? And if you look at both lineups, Adroit is the one that has the enabler, which is the Magnus. And what Magnus does is that he actually improves a team's late game ability by providing the cleave to both the Void Spirit and the Troll Warlord. Whereas for Boom Esports, what they have is what they have. They don't necessarily get any better than that in the late game scenario. Execution-wise, it's a lot easier to hit an RP than it is for FBZ to land the most perfect panda split of his life, because he has been a primary target of Adroit and he's had a really rough time trying to get the panda splits as well as his necessary disables on those crucial heroes. And you have a Dazzle with the Shallow Grave. Shallow Grave in a late game scenario is so deadly because the duration of Shallow Grave in a late game scenario is way too OP. Let's be realistic. In a late game fight, it only takes 3 seconds for someone to die. And if Shallow Grave can keep you alive for so long, you're going to have a huge advantage because, yeah, you're stuck at 1 HP, but there's no axe. There's nothing that's actually going to kill you at the end of the duration. So chances are Troll will always win his matchups as long as he's getting hit with the Graves. So Boom, they have a great late game lineup. They have a Morphling, monster of a late game hero, but Dreamer Cell got neutered so early that he was basically an irrelevant factor. So if we hit late game, Adroit would have hit late game sooner. And we know what happens when you have late game with a Magnus who's eventually going to get a refresher.
I still don't get why didn't he have a Lincoln. Think about it. Look at a lineup from Adroit, right? Not one of them are single unit spellcasting, right? Like the only CML with his Bane could proc the Lincoln Sphere, which is good. That was all he needed. He needed to survive that, because whenever he gets skewered in, there was no way he was getting out. At least if he had the Lincolns, things would be different. He would still get a waveform out every single time. It's a Bane game.
Yeah, I guess there are some other factors to it, whereas Lincoln's only stops 1 spell, and if Adroit, let's say they coordinate it properly, maybe they just send in the Void Spirit first, pop the Lincolns early with the Yules, and then they somehow coordinate it with CML to get the grip right after. We're looking at top level teams, so I suppose the solutions for us that seem so simple, it's not so simple for them because they're well aware of this item might be really strong, but you're up against a team such as Adroit who are very well coordinated, so we'd have to expect at some point that they would, figure out, oh, he has Lincolns, let's just tag team to remove the Lincolns. Whereas BKB, for me, I felt this game BKB was a little bit better. Obviously, RP and Grip, they both PS BKB, but it's more of a solid choice compared to Lincoln's where it only blocks one thing. Whereas BKB blocks multiple things, but not RP and Grip. I'm very sure Makoto weighed the pros and cons of both items and just felt like BKB was the better one.
I feel
Best
he was
description.
I think he was waiting for Cascade to disrupt him whenever those initiations happened, but it was way too far. That was never happening. Nevertheless, that was game number 1. Let's not dwell on it. Let us see who the feature player is for this match, this game number 1 alone. Boomy coming in with all the clutch RPs. I'd say he deserved that one, lad. He's done so much. Though all those skewer backwards. Yep.
He played very well. He was so solid. I don't think there was a time where he got caught out and just died for no reason. Every time he died, it was usually because he was trying to catch someone or pop the RP, or at least he was doing something every time, and if he did die, then he helped his team out. So honestly, Boomy, he played so well on the Magnus. I'm expecting the Magnus to get banned out next game. I mean, don't want to play against it. This was second pick. Was it second pick or third pick for Boomy?
It was second pick.
It was the second pick. Yeah. So they're not afraid to pick up a Magnus that early.
Mm-hmm. It has always been a cheese strat, right? Just Magnus empower whoever your carry is gonna be. As long as he's
okay. Hang on. That ain't cheese. That's a legit strat. Okay, don't you dare call Magnus cheese. It's a strat.
No, it's a cheese in a way that it's an easy executed thing. Like it's almost a promisement. It's like Morph Earthshaker. That's a cheese strat. They call it a cheese strat. So Magnus with anyone who needs farm, that's kind of a cheese, right? It's straightforward, but it works. You know, it's straightforward, but it works. But there are ways to play against it. It's just that the win rate on the two combination just seemed to be favoring, well, whatever this is. So
whatever this is. Okay. It's alright. So that's going to be it for game 1 of this best of 3 series. This is the semi-finals. Whoever wins today is going to be going straight to the grand finals to play off against Geek Fam. But for now, we're going to have a quick break so that the teams have a break and that you guys will also have a quick break. After 5 minutes, we should be starting the matches. So until then, stick around. We'll see you later with a little